Change a question, change your life. When it comes to planning your life, I want to get you to learn to ask 3 questions now. And the first one is not, what am I going to do? The question you want to ask yourself is, what do I want? What's my outcome? What's my result? The first one is to get you focused on the target. The target is not the activity. The activity can change. It's what's the result I'm after. If you know exactly what it is you really want, what you desire, what you're really after, clarity is power. The more clear you are on specifically what you want, the faster your brain can get you there.
This episode is brought to you by RPM, the Rapid Planning Method, the system that Tony has used to not just achieve massive results in his life and create his $6 billion business empire, but a life driven by purpose, by his why. To find out more about RPM and how you can achieve more with less time, register for the RPM webinar at www.tonyrobbins.com/RPM-webinar. That's www.tonyrobbins.com/RPM-webinar.
What does it take to successfully create a lasting change in your life? The first step is you got to have a vision for what it is you really, truly want. Something has the power to pull you. Push requires willpower, and willpower never lasts. What will last is having something so exciting, so attractive, something you desire so much that you have a hard time going to sleep at night. You get up early in the morning to rock it and take it to the next level.
Welcome to the Tony Robbins Podcast. I'm Annie York. You're listening to an episode that's part of a special season where we're exploring the 5 areas of life that many people focus on improving at the start of a new year: health, productivity, finances, relationships, and career. Today, we're taking a look at productivity and goal setting, something that's top of mind this time of year. We're sitting down to chat with Jenna Kutcher. You may have heard her podcast, Goal Digger, where she helps her listeners redefine success, chase bolder dreams, and tackle their biggest goals. Jenna is an entrepreneur, an expert marketer, speaker, and a social media influencer with 1.7 million followers, 1 million of them on Instagram. She has a strong voice speaking out about important topics like body positivity, female entrepreneurship, and some of the more difficult ones, like going through a miscarriage. She has set massive goals for herself, achieved them, and has created an extraordinary life, one that's on her terms and her time. But life didn't always look that way for Jenna. She started her career in corporate America, working 10+ hours a day for a Fortune 500 company. While she had a promising future and a promotion on the horizon, she just didn't see the point of making more money if she didn't have the time to actually enjoy it. So Jenna made the decision to quit her job and pursue something different, something that fulfilled her, that she was passionate about. She bought a $300 camera off of Craigslist and started taking pictures at her friends' weddings and became determined to be a successful photographer. She became passionate again, and it's that passion that fueled her. Soon enough, she had her own business and a ticket out of corporate America. Today, Jenna's life looks a lot different. She's created $1 million business with multiple revenue streams, and she's just 31 years old. Between running her company, speaking all over the world, and being a mother to her daughter, Conley, and a wife to her husband, Drew, she has a lot going on. But because Jenna has mastered goal setting, productivity, and time, she's completely integrated her work with her life. She's able to spend time where it matters, with her family, and in her favorite place, Maui, for 3 months out of the year, where she completely disconnects. Listen closely as Jenna and I sit down for a one-on-one interview where she shares her approach to success and how she took her wedding photography business, something that relied on her own personal involvement to be successful, and diversified it to the point where it runs even when she's not there and generates revenue 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, Jenna, I have to ask, entrepreneurs have this tendency to set these massive goals for themselves, right? Like they build up their businesses, they achieve a certain level of success, but then they find themselves working 24/7, and they're actually operators. They're handling the day-to-day tasks, not owners who can step away from time to time. So how did you do it? How did you go from starting your business and being a solopreneur, working all the time, to being able to step away and have a business that thrives even when you're not there? What was your strategy?
Yeah, so it was interesting as a wedding photographer because I was on this upward trajectory. So I had this huge carrot in front of me. I thought 6 figures was it. Like I thought once you hit 6 figures, you have made it. And so I booked 25 weddings and then 27 weddings and then 30 weddings. And I was in the middle of that 30 wedding season, which, if you do the math, we live in the Midwest. So I was shooting 1 to 2 weddings every single weekend from April to November, and then working all week to stay caught up on my workflow. And I remember for the first time in my life, I was like feeling anxious. Like I had this anxiety about me, that I knew that what I had built required so heavily on me that no one else could step in and do what I was doing. And that if I were injured or if life happened, like my business would crumble. And so I was just working up, 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 up. And I finally hit this breaking point. And I hate sharing that because I feel like so many entrepreneurs that are successful today push themselves to that breaking point. And it's like, I wish I could protect you from ever hitting that point. But a lot of times that's what's necessary to figure out what your next steps are. And I told my husband, I said, screw 6 figures. We were just fine when I was making 50 grand a year. I am going to cut my work in half next year. I will never do this again. And I don't care if we eat ramen noodles and live in this condo forever. I want my time back. Like, I want to be happy again. I want to have time with my family and be successful at life and not just in business. And that was actually the season that then ended up catapulting me into an entirely new industry, because I finally had time again. And I've always shared with people, like, time is my biggest currency. I fiercely protect my time. And so all of the big pivotal changes that have happened in my business happened when I finally gave myself time again to say, what do I want? What's worth it? Where's my time best spent? What is my superpower? And so there's definitely different seasons of hustle and then like hit the brakes and figure out what's next and recalibrate.
That's great. And, I think you nailed it right when you said entrepreneurs get so focused on a single vision and they just put their head down and they go. But the real secret, and a lot of people have discovered this, is diversifying. And it's not spreading yourself too thin.
Yes.
It's just putting your hands in different buckets, AKA revenue streams.
Yes.
Right. So now you do so much, right?
Yeah.
You're an entrepreneur, an educator, a blogger, a photographer. You have a podcast called Goal Digger, which is amazing. So how do you make the decision then what you're going to focus on at what time?
For me, what fuels me is freedom. And I've really established that this year is like, what does freedom look like in my life? And for me, I once heard somebody say that the average millionaire has, I think, 7 revenue streams. And I was like, I'm going to make 8, overachiever status. And so I set out to figure out different ways to monetize my brand, my business, who I am, what we do. And the way that I see freedom is that I could shut down any one of those at any point when I'm just done, and it wouldn't impact my life or my level of happiness. And so when I started to look at, okay, what is a true brand? Because I think most people set off and they build a business, but a business sells a product or a service, and a brand is the personality behind those. Like, you trust a brand, you trust